You ever been woken up at 5 in the dang morning by your own bees? Not the rooster, not the neighbor's dog, not even the sun. Just a whole squadron of honeybees doing their morning calisthenics, right when the world's still wrapped in fog and regret. I'll tell you, that's how my day started. Actually, scratch that. My day started with a camera alert, ping, right to my phone, showing our infamous HOA president, Karen, tiptoeing through my backyard like she's auditioning for a raccoon biopic. Pink bathrobe, yellow rubber boots, hair up in curlers, glancing around like she's about to knock over a Vegas casino, not a dew-soaked barn. Yeah, that's how you know something's up, right? Now, let me back up a sec so you can get the full picture, because my place sits out at the edge of the subdivision, not some McMansion, just a squat little red barn tucked past the fence line. It's not a palace, but it's mine, and that barn's got everything I need: garden tools, bags of seed, and right smack in the middle, a handful of beehives I've been tending since I was a kid. Grandpa taught me everything. How to keep bees happy, how to pull honey without drama, how to love the hum and the wild scent of clover in the air. Problem is, the HOA, well, they hate anything that smells like farm. And Karen? She hates me even more, if you can believe it. She's called my barn an eyesore so many times it's practically her catchphrase. Says my hives are weapons, and my lifestyle's inviting chaos, like I'm plotting some pollen-fueled uprising in the suburbs. She started with little notes taped to my gate. Then came the $100 fines. Then the big letter, all bolded caps, telling me my barn violated a rule written sometime around the Nixon administration. Next thing I know, she wants to inspect my property for compliance. I said, "You got a warrant?" She just smirked, showed me her HOA badge like that meant something, and said, "I am the law here." You know what I mean? Classic Karen. So yeah, when my phone showed her creeping around at dawn, heart hammering, I knew today's gonna get weird. She didn't even hesitate. Just popped my latch and slipped inside, walking right into my barn like she paid the mortgage. By lunchtime, she'd already plastered the HOA Facebook page with a whole post about how unsafe my barn was, how she was forced to enter for the good of the community. Dozens of likes. 0 comments. That's how you know people are terrified. Nobody wants to be the next target of her whistle and her binder full of doom. Now me? I try to fight fair. I showed up to the next board meeting, arms loaded, state beekeeping laws printed out, permits in a plastic sleeve, even a faded photo of Grandpa and his old hive, just for nostalgia points. The board just sat there, quiet as yard gnomes. Karen read from her binder in that nasal voice. Non-conforming accessory structure, unauthorized livestock. I said, "Lady, they're bees, not goats." The treasurer wouldn't even look at me, just polished his glasses and stared at his loafers. My neighbor Zoe, bless her, squeezed my arm and mouthed, "I'm sorry," but she kept her head down too. Nobody spoke up. "Table it for review," they said. Up my fine to $300. $300 for the crime of honey and heritage. I storm home, just burning. Pace my kitchen, watch that video of Karen snooping around, her pawing in my honey jars, acting like she just discovered a new species. I was so mad, but you know what's worse? That feeling underneath. Like maybe I really was losing my own land, getting smaller every time they pushed. Poured myself some tea, hands shaking, and then, look, I'll admit it, a dumb idea crawled out of my head and said, "Try me." I grinned right back. See, I've got this big observation box. Clear sides, vents, the whole 9 yards, meant for showing school kids how bees work. What if, next time she snuck in, I set up the box, slid a hive inside, safe, contained, but just open enough so a few bees could float around the barn, nowhere else. Not dangerous, just illustrative. If Karen wanted a scary barn, she could meet the real residents. I convinced myself it was genius. No violence, just drama. 2 days later, before the sky even turned pink, I'm up in my bee suit, headlamp on, heart pounding so loud, I swear the bees could feel it. Dragged the observation box into place, cracked the inner lid, just a sliver, stood by the wall, holding my breath. The whole barn was alive with this quiet, electric hum. Latch clicks, door creaks, and in she slides. Phone out, flashlight beaming around like she's on CSI, Beekeeper Edition. Aha! She whispers, so cartoon villain it's honestly hilarious. Her light lands on the box. Bees float toward the glow, lazy and calm. And then, because it's my life, a rake behind me tips and clatters down, echoing like a gong. Bees lift off, Karen freezes, and suddenly I'm shouting, "Don't swat. Stay still." But she goes full windmill, arms flying, robe flapping, her phone sailing into a bucket. She plumps down hard. I lunge for the box, but the lid slips, pops wide open. Now the bees aren't mad. They're just curious, but they're everywhere. I get stung twice where my glove's loose. Karen? One sting right on the cheek, 3 more on her pink robe, and you'd think I'd set off a fire alarm. She bolts, howling, out the barn door into the sunrise, robe streaming behind her like a flag of surrender. My neighbor Ben, Ben the jogger, just happens to be running by. Sees her sprinting, and of course, whips out his phone. World's angriest bathrobe versus angry bees, he'd later post. Zoe sticks her head out and yells, "Need help?" Karen just points at me, wild-eyed, and screeches, "You weaponized insects." And then the sirens. Turns out someone called the police. 2 squad cars, a rookie officer trying not to laugh, standing there. Me in my bee suit, Karen with one side of her face swelling up, the barn still buzzing like a drumline. Officer reads the no trespassing sign right on my door. Asks, "Ma'am, did you have permission to be in his barn?" Karen puffs up and goes, "I'm the HOA." He says, "That's not permission." Calls animal control. Calls the county inspector. Now, I'm sitting there on my porch step with an ice pack, fighting the urge to laugh and cry at the same time, when the real grown-ups arrive. Clipboard, county badge, actual facts. Inspector checks my permits, double-checks my signs, asks about the bees. Are they contained? I show him the box, admit the little incident with the lid. He shrugs, says, "Looks compliant. Pollinators are good. This is private property." Karen tries to cut in. He shuts her down flat. "Ma'am, entering at 5 a.m. without consent is trespassing." Ben's video is already all over the neighborhood group chat. People are sending bumblebee gifs and laughing emojis. Someone slaps a little crown and wings on a Karen's Facebook picture. Queen Bee, the caption. My favorite neighbor, the one who got fined 3 times for her kid's swing set, pipes up, "Guess rules only count for us, huh?" You could feel the tide turning, maybe just a little rebellion, but man, it felt good. The officer writes Karen a ticket for trespassing, so she can contest it, but he's got the video and the sign on my door. Inspector files his report, apiary in good standing. And for the first time in recorded history, the HOA treasurer actually speaks, real quiet. We might need to revisit those fines. Karen shoots daggers with her one good eye, still trying to claim I'd commanded my bees like a mad scientist. Officer turns to me, deadpan. "Can you command bees?" I said, "Only on Tuesdays." He just about lost it. Week later, the board calls an emergency meeting. This time, standing room only. People are sick of being pushed around. Zoe stands up, God bless her, and says, "He grows the tomatoes we all eat. His bees pollinate our yards." Ben's video plays on a loop. The board votes, fines canceled, Karen booted from president. Just another seat on the row, nobody listening when she talks. She's bathrobe Barbie, now mean, sure, but I'm not apologizing. I fixed up my observation box, tightened my bee suit cuffs, gave the county inspector a big jar of honey for his trouble. Karen's face went back to normal in a day, and now she crosses the street when she sees me coming, which honestly suits me just fine. These days the neighborhood's quieter. Kids chase butterflies in my clover. My barn's just a barn, my bees just bees. Sometimes the camera pings at dawn, but it's just the sun coming up, not another HOA stunt. Was it perfect? Heck no. It stung, and not just for me. But the truth came buzzing out loud and bright. Rules finally work for the little guy, just this once. And next time someone says, "I'm the HOA," I'll point to my sign, my permits, my hives, smile, and say, "I'm the homeowner." So what do you think? Did she get what she deserved, or did I go too far? Drop your wildest HOA stories, or tell me what justice looks like in your book, because I gotta know. And hey, hit that like, subscribe, stick around for the next showdown. Around here, you never know what's buzzing just over the fence.